There are certain things that automatically spark nostalgia in your mind. And if you were born in the 90s, Nickelodeon's classic Orange VHS tapes are probably one of those things. Being that VHS tapes are now a thing of the past, I thought it would be interesting to take a look back at Nickelodeon's Orange VHS tapes. Let's talk about it. Interestingly enough, Nickelodeon's first VHS tapes were not orange. From what I could find online, one of the first VHS tapes released by Nickelodeon was a VHS of the Nickelodeon game show Double Dare. This tape was released in 1988. There were a few more black VHS tapes released in the 80s, but Nickelodeon really reached its peak in the 90s, so that's where we get into the bread and butter of the orange VHS tapes. From what I've been able to see, almost all of Nickelodeon tapes released in the 90s were orange. To prove this point, let's dive into some of the most popular Nicktoons of the 90s. There were 4 Doug VHS tapes produced by Nick released in the 90s. All were orange. Moving on to Rugrats, Nick's first major successful cartoon. Rugrats ran for 9 seasons, season 1 airing in 1991 and the final episode airing in 2004. So does anyone want to guess how many VHS tapes were released for Rugrats? There are actually more than 30. There are VHS tapes that feature specific characters, including Angelica Divine, Chucky the Brave, Bill and Lil Double Trouble, and even one featuring Grandpa. There are seasonal specials, including Passover, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and even Hanukkah. And of course, the movies were released on VHS as well. Most of the VHS tapes were orange. Why do I say most? Apparently, orange VHS tapes became rare after 2001. So if you look at the tapes released after that time, there are some Rugrats tapes that are actually black. Some examples include Rugrats Kwanzaa, released in September 2001, Rugrats Halloween, released in 2002, and Rugrats Mysteries, released in 2003. However, the Rugrats Go Wild movie, released in 2003, was orange, which was irregular for that time. Moving on to the beloved SpongeBob, you see a similar trend. The first SpongeBob tape was released in 2002, Nautical Nonsense. Almost all of the SpongeBob tapes were black. However, some of the tapes were released in black and orange. For example, Sponge Guard on Duty, released in 2004, apparently had both orange and black copies, although the orange copies are very rare. Popular shows from the early 2000s, including Fairly Odd Parents, As Told by Ginger, and Jimmy Neutron, all had black VHS tapes as well. What caused this transition from orange to black tapes? Well, if I had to guess, I would say it would be 3 simple letters, DVD. Of course, this is just speculation. I couldn't find any concrete reason on this change, so any number of reasons could be true, including design changes, uniformity, changes in marketing, lack of material, etc. But my assumption would be the rise of the DVD. In the US, the first DVD players were available for purchase in 1997. Although very expensive, starting at more than $799. By 2002, DVD players had a strong hold in American homes, and they were less expensive, going for only around $100. With that in mind, it seems quite possible that Nick did not want to put much fuss into VHS tapes, as they would soon become a distant memory. But before I end this video, we must discuss the final VHS tapes released by Nickelodeon. So what year do you think Nickelodeon released his final VHS tapes? From what I can find online, the last of Nickelodeon's VHS tapes were released in 2006, which is a reasonable timeline because 2006 was also the last year in which a major Hollywood film was released onto VHS, the film A History of Violence. Amongst the VHS tapes released in 2006, shockingly, Drake and Josh was one of them. And even more shockingly is the fact that Zoey 101 was released on VHS tape as well. In my mind, the time when Zoey 101 was airing was way past the VHS era, but apparently not. That's all I have for this video. Do you have any fond memories of the orange VHS tapes? Any cool tapes you own? Let's talk about it. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.